Today we are going to dig up, divide, and then transplant a Hosta. I'm not sure of the variety of Hosta that this happens to be, but it is variegated, meaning multicolored. The borders are creamy white and the I call kind of a lime green. It doesn't get a whole lot darker than this in summertime. So yeah, we're going to dig this Hosta out of here because there's other stuff I put around it, this tree, and then there's some other stuff going on, and I want to move the Hosta. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig it up as one large clump, then I'm going to divide it, and then I'm going to put it into new homes. So this will actually make, I don't know, probably 4 different plants. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. Alright, so you can see that the plant is out. I've left a pretty large root ball on it. You can see where I kind of dug down at an angle here, equally all the way around the plant, so we go in kind of like that. That's all the way around it. It looks like this is, I mean, it's a nice root ball. You've got to make sure that you get as much of the root structure as you can when you're going to try to transplant something. Also, you don't want to do it in the height of summer. That would stress the plant out significantly. This is early spring, and the temperatures are okay. Make sure I water this really well, and then it should be just fine. So I'm going to knock some of this dirt off of here, and then I will go ahead and start to divide it. Okay, so I basically just took my flat spade and I shaved off some of the stump just like this. You can see I didn't hit a whole ton of roots anywhere up this way, but as I went down, there's lots of them. So I didn't really want to rip those off of the root ball. These are for the Hosta. So what I'm going to do now is divide it. In order to do that, you want to be able to use a shovel that's pretty clean and sharp. So just prior to me starting this, I took my spade and I ran a file over it just to kind of clean up the edge, so it's nice and sharp and not full of well, all dirt and stuff like that. I just want to make sure it's very clean, so in case there's something on there I don't want to transfer it over to my Hosta. So this is going to be kind of difficult to do with one. So what I'll do is I'm going to kind of divide this plant. You're going to cut some leaves on it. That you just can't help but do that. I'm going to kind of look through this thing and sort of divide it. So I've got 2 halves now, as you can see. And then what I'll do is take my flat shovel, I'll put it right into there, and then I will use a foot, something like that, and I'll just jam the shovel down into there and divide it in half. Let's see, I don't know if this is going to work. Okay. Now that one plant just became 2. And unfortunately, but there's going to be some victims along the way, but for the most part you should be able to get this plant going. So now what I'm going to do is I'll cut each half in half again, and that'll just be the same process that I just did. Kind of divide it, and then put my shovel into there. And then jam it through. So now the one plant is 3 separate plants. And I will divide this one now, and then we'll put it into new homes. Okay, so I dug a new hole. It's just a little bit deeper and a little bit wider than the actual root ball. This was just some old grass clippings, and I'll just chuck them in there. That won't grow. That'll just break down. Be good stuff. So we'll put the root ball into the ground here. I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It had some, I don't know, sticks and junk in there, so I may as well clean it up. What we want to do, excuse me, is make sure that we keep this plant pretty much at the level of the grade. This would be the grade. This is, my grade is this. It's the level of my dirt. This is all the grade from my yard. I mean, I know it's grass, but this is the level of the grade. So we want to make sure that we don't leave this plant too high. If we leave it too high, what'll happen is this would all be exposed and dry out, and we'd have lots of troubles. The plant would die. If you plant it too high, the plant will die. However, if you plant it too low, the plant won't grow. Planting too high dries everything out. Planting too low suffocates your plant because it's not going to be able to, it's one of the things that'll happen. It's not exactly the only thing, but too high, the plant will die. Too low, the plant won't grow. Just remember that and you're safe. So I'm now going to backfill this with some amended soil. It's actually out of my raised beds. Some compost. I got some nice compost. I'm gonna, not necessary to use it to put in there. You can just use the native soil, but the soil from this hole went to fill the hole I just made over there to get the plant out. So I'm just gonna fill it with some nice soil. We'll take a look at that in a minute, and then we're gonna water the snot out of this thing. All right, so the new soil is in, and you can see how I got the grade to kind of be the same. So we're not gonna, stress the plant out any more than we already have. And then we're just gonna water it really well. I'm gonna put a lot of water onto it. And then I'll bring the mulch back. There's mulch, you can see, that I pulled back. So we'll put the mulch back, and then we'll call this particular plant done. Then we'll take a look at how they all turned out. Alright, so they're all in, they're all watered. Not looking too shabby. Didn't take very long, and instead of buying hostas, I used one and divided it. So I actually need one more. There's a hole right over there that I need to fill that in with a hosta, and then we'll be good to go. So wait until I get one, or there's one my neighbor said I could divide, so take a piece of that.